Welcome to this video, guys. Today, we're going to discuss why people have fucked up credit. And if you have fucked up credit, which is basically a 600 or below, this video is going to change that. And this video, I promise you, will reveal things that have never been discussed on YouTube. I promised you right there, and I'm going to hold up to that promise. This is not just some cliche video where people just copy and paste something that some other creator says. We're going to talk about things that have never been talked about before on YouTube on the subject of your bad credit. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in. Why do people have fucked up credit? Before we go into that, let me tell you who I am so you can have context as to why you should probably listen to me and how this video can potentially change your life. I am dead serious. I've been fixing credit for 13 years. I've run a business, multiple credit repair businesses, and I've serviced over thousands of clients, maybe tens of thousands of people I've helped, directly and indirectly even more. My mentors were the pioneers of the credit repair industry. They were there during the founding of Lexington Law when it came into fruition, when it was first a business, and even during the beginning of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So I've been around some really high-level lawyers that even worked for former presidents, and just being in the industry of credit repair, it's both good and bad experience I've had. And I'm going to tell you, I've worked on a lot of people's files, and my active clients, they still continue to make the same mistakes. And I can even foresee their future because even though they've hired me to fix their credit, or maybe you may hire someone or DIY it yourself, if you don't really address the things that I've written on the board, and I'm going to be specific, and they're not going to be cliche, they're not going to be cheesy, and they're not going to be basic things. They're going to be things that you've probably never heard of, and no other credit repair expert on YouTube is even talking about this. And this is why you should watch this video, because the purpose of it is to really give you something you've never seen before and something that's really effective and that's going to change your life. That's my promise with the video. All I ask is if I hold up to that promise, please click the like button if you can, or not. Don't even do anything. You can hire someone to fix your credit. You can work on it yourself, or you can even work with me, or maybe you've hired me and you're watching this. Well, chances are if you have bad credit, you're probably going to continue that revolving door of fuckery and make the same bad financial mistakes because you haven't addressed the things that I've written on the board. It has nothing to do with removing negative items. It has everything to do with you. Why do people have fucked up credit? Emotional drivers and fear of scarcity. That's why you have fucked up credit. Cognitive biases and irrational behaviors. That's why you have bad credit. Number 3, low financial literacy and poor calculation. A lot of you guys don't know how to calculate properly. That's why you have bad credit. Number 4, behavioral patterns and past experiences. So there you have it. That's basically the crux as to why you're in this situation. And you're probably never going to get out unless someone like me tells you about these things. But I know I just listed them, but let's dive in and get more specific. So the main thing I want you to pay attention to are the biases. These biases are so important because if you don't pay attention to them, you could really screw yourself up. These biases right here are so important because no one really stops to pause themselves before making a fucked up decision, because their decision-making process is hijacked by your ingrained biases. Imagine that. Listen, if you have bad credit, there is a high likelihood that these biases are screwing you. So please take note and take heed to this, because when you have this information and you'll be able to spot these biases in action, just the mere practice of pausing yourself and reflecting, you will change your financial future for the rest of your life and get out of the current situation that you're in. So maybe you are working with me right now, or maybe you're thinking about working with me. Well, the work doesn't stop, because as we are correcting these mistakes, prevention is the greatest cure. We want to prevent you from making these mistakes again. And when you do this, you will prevent yourself from making these mistakes. And this is why industries like the airline industry are considered the most safe. There is a system called Six Sigma, and this is a series of preventative steps that airline companies use to prevent crashes. And it's really unlikely for a plane to crash because they follow these principles. Well, what about your financial situation? Why don't you apply these Six Sigma protocols to your finances, and then you won't see your credit score crash. You hop on a plane and you trust the pilot even though you don't know them. Well, why don't you trust me? Because a lot of you guys know me, but I'm showing face and I'm going to help you drive your credit up without crashing. The first bias is really important. This is loss aversion bias. Now, this is basically the fear of loss rather than the look to gain. And basically drop people that think that they're just going to have a job and save their way to wealth. They're so scared of losing money, so they save it, but little do they know if they don't invest it, they're never going to 10x their money. And with inflation going on, the value of a dollar is decreasing every single year, I think 6 or 12%. So if you look at all the money you save, and then if you look at the tax bracket you'll be in later on or where the taxes remain, your money is going to lose its value. So it's important to be an investor. All the wealthy people invest their money, not just save it. You save for a purchase, but if you want to be able to purchase more, you invest and then it accrues what's called compound interest. We'll make another video about that. So if you have not been investing, if you have just been saving your money, you're going to lose money. And you might think, oh, yeah, it's okay. I make good monny to you, but good money today is not good money tomorrow. Remember, it loses value. And heaven forbid a mistake or an emergency expense. So it's best to invest and learn how to take your income and double it by putting it into the stock market or putting it into a business. Okay. But business is not for everyone, so I understand. It requires a certain type of person to run a business because I'm telling you, as a business owner myself, it is not easy. I had to grow a lot and develop myself before I could become a successful business person that I am now. And I'm telling you, I'm still learning and I'm still growing. So, but I will tell you, it's not for everyone. Some people just want to work a job. But if you want to work a job, you need to invest your income to make more income. That's the only way to get out of your financial mess. Moving on to the second bias, overconfidence, carrying high balances. I think overconfidence more relates to the business owners that I represent and work on, because business owners, they got to be pretty confident, right? Overconfident to start some business and being confident that it will profit. Overconfident people tend to spend more money, and that could be the detriment of their finances. So you want to be a good calculator, because it's not the confidence that's going to make you profit in the sense that if you calculate precisely, you will, because overconfidence without precise calculations, it leaves you to being liable. It leaves you to liabilities. It leaves you to tax liability if you're overconfident. It leaves you to, timing the market wrong. Like COVID-19, if you're overconfident and you bought some things and then now the price is up. So you were overconfident before. So it's good to be confident, but overconfident is like, oh, well, I have a big deal coming in. So you know what? I'll max this card out and that deal will come in, so I'll pay for it. You can't operate like that because it's counting your chickens before they hatch. A lot of people still do. So being overconfident, think, yeah, I'm going to close this deal. Oh, yeah, I'm going to get this deal. I'm going to do that. Well, it isn't in yet. So you need to not be overconfident and be a precise calculator and just be a realistic. Okay. Confidence is okay, but overconfidence will lead to carrying high balances on your credit card and overextending yourself. A lot of people in real estate get overconfident and they think that they're going to buy this home and sell it in a perfect world, but then the market crashes and then people don't want to buy the home because some problem of the home is a nightmare, and then you're screwed because you rely too much on overconfidence and your ability to perform, which is your own confidence. It has nothing to do with the external parts, which is the home and the market. These are things outside of you that you can't control. And since we can control our confidence, that is a problem, because if you're too overconfident, you overlook the problems that are outside of you. Anchoring bias is a pretty interesting one. You're more prone to bargains rather than value. This kind of goes along with the people that are just doing job, they're saving, and they're thinking, well, let me just buy a bunch of cheap stuff and not get the value that I needed. Let's just go to a cheap credit repair company and make everything go away, but you find out that the quality sucks. Okay. And it's the same thing with everything. You get what you pay for in life. And these people, they're always looking for a bargain. They're always looking for a bargain. And they have the fear and loss aversion bias intertwined with the anchoring bias. I think these biases work a lot together. They're very correlated. They're usually seen side by side, anchoring and loss aversion. Now, if you have two of them, then you're double fucked. And I see that a lot. People that have loss aversion bias and anchoring bias, and they want to save rather than invest. And they also want to save on everything they buy, like this product, that product, or even service when they want to hire a professional credit repair expert. When was the last time you saw someone on YouTube talk about this stuff? Go ahead and drop a comment in this video if you like it so far, because you need to look at yourself and blame yourself and take responsibility. Because if you're not talking about this, these are the real negatives, okay? These are the real negatives that you need to erase from your goddamn brain, okay? This is a brain right here, all right? That's the brain stem, that's the fat and all that shit. That's a brain. This is your brain, and your brain is fucked. So let me help you erase these negatives, okay? You got it? Good. All right. So anchoring bias, you're always looking for bargains. And like, oh, can I get a discount? Well, giving you a discount is not going to give you quality service, right? People that are always looking for discounts are shooting themselves in the foot. And if you buy cheap shoes for a discount, they're probably not going to last long. All right. So we have anchoring bias. Herd mentality. Herd mentality is a big one. FOMO. FOMO. It screams out FOMO when you're watching the stock market and you just want to copy off everyone else. You got to be careful of that. You got to be very careful of that. If you're reading the news, you're already too late. All right? You're already too late. Okay? If your credit is messed up and you're thinking about fixing it, you're already too late. Your credit should have already been fixed yesterday. Don't wait until the emergency comes. Don't wait until you need to buy a home to start beginning to fix your credit. And then you call me and say, oh, I need it done today. Listen, this is your problem, not my problem. You procrastinated. You could have made a decision 6 months ago because you were saying, oh, I want to hire another person that does a shitty job. Oh, I'd rather save my money and do it myself, but you fucked it up even worse. Let me tell you something. 99% of the people that did DIY credit repair, they end up calling me and their file is more fucked than I want to care about it to even take them on as a client. So if you try to fix your credit on your own, I probably don't even want to work with you because you already screwed it up. So herd mentality also gives you FOMO. So it gives you FOMO, and what does that do? When you have FOMO, you deviate from long-term financial loss. When you buy into the S&P 500, you choose a list of really good high-performing companies that are stable and that have been here for a long time, and then the stock price goes down, your portfolio goes down, and then you have a cow. Why? Because you're not thinking about the long term. Remember, you're not day trading, so you should be careful. You're investing for the long term. Just because something happens today doesn't mean it's going to happen tomorrow. And this also correlates to human behavior on a day-to-day basis. Let's just say you have a bad day. Well, your day-to-day doesn't define you for the long term. Delayed gratification. Delayed gratification is another one. Okay, guys. So now let's focus on emotional drivers and fear of scarcity. These are the people that think the world is very limited and they're just going to run out of something, right? Your money is tied to emotions such as fear, anxiety, greed, pride. When you're greedy, you want to make money quick because you're impatient, because you fear that if you don't get it now, like FOMO, you're going to run out of the supply. And that is called a scarcity mindset. A scarcity mindset will make you want to act too quickly in haste and use your emotions. You don't want to make financial decisions with emotions. I understand people want to get excited. I understand that people want to make money, but you have to cool off your emotions, okay? It's not your excitement that's going to make you rich. It's your mindset and your mentality and your precise calculations and your financial literacy to understand, does this deal make sense? Does this stock make sense? Am I going to screw myself? Did I overextend myself? Etc. Does it make sense to go on this vacation with my credit card and max it out because I'm just going to close a deal, that one deal Bob said he's going to sign the papers next week? Well, he promised you on futures of tomorrow because he doesn't have shit. And why would you base your finances on a word of another person that doesn't even have anything for themselves. Their disease gets passed on to you. So stop it. Stop it. Cognitive biases, irrational behaviors, okay? Things that you've been told. Like we discussed the biases right here, all right? Now, low financial literacy and poor calculations. Many individuals lack the tools to properly understand budgeting, interest rates, credit management, and risk assessment. This is a big problem. This can cause them to underestimate how quickly debt compounds or how damaging late payments are, increasing the default risk. So a great example I see is something that everyone uses credit for. Do you know what that is? It's called a car, auto loans. I see people, they want to get a brand new car. Don't get a brand new car. A car is a depreciating asset. It loses value as soon as you drive it off the lot. So get like a beater. Like if you're making 100K, you should drive like a $3,000 car. Seriously, make sure it's reliable. There are reliable $3,000 cars out there. There's no need to get a brand new car. It doesn't even really build your credit unless you pay it off after 4 years. After the 4-year mark, it helps you. But then again, why carry all that debt? Remember, debt installment loans, they affect your credit to debt ratio, your amounts owed, which is a significant part of your credit that you need to calculate. Remember, precise calculation, budget. You also want to budget the points that you have and also the amount of credit you have and then your income. When you overlook these things, that's where you make the biggest mistake. And the car salesman will do this too because their job is to get you fixated on the monthly payment. How much can you afford monthly? If you ever bought a car, you know this. If they ever ask you, how much can you afford monthly? They're trying to fuck you. It's not about what you can afford monthly as opposed to the span of your life. Because if you can save money, it really doesn't matter because you're saving money in the long run and that's money you could use down the line when that mistake happens, that event, that unlikely event happens in your life, like COVID-19, a car accident, or a kidney transplant, or this or that. And then you have money set aside because you planned for a rainy day. So precise calculations. It's good to be optimistic, but you also want to be smart. A lot of people don't know how to calculate interest, compound interest in the negative sense, meaning the interest on your auto loan, the interest on this business deal, the interest on this and that. There's people saying you could buy houses with credit cards, business credit cards. That's bullshit. It's 3% for a cash advance or a balance transfer. And then most houses in the Bay Area require like a 5% deposit on an FHA loan. And the homes here are like $1 million and above. So how could you use a credit card for that? That's just retarded. You know, no one's buying like $100,000 home, right? This isn't 1930 or 1950 where those homes exist anymore. If you want to buy a shack with a credit card, be my guest, but it's really, really not recommended. Anyway, behavioral patterns and past experiences, okay? Upbringing, cultural influences, and personal history. If you grew up in a household where, you know, you live paycheck to paycheck, where you can, you know, food was scarce and your father, you know, barely could keep the light bill on, like my family, then these money principles are going to be ingrained in you. It's going to be part of your biology. So in order to reverse that, you have to correct your disease by not making the same mistakes and changing your mentality. So the best way to do that is focus on the biases. There's going to be a self-assessment test in the link description below, which would basically organize all of this in a form of a test with actionable steps for you to take in your own leisure for you to fix your problem. And if you're serious about fixing your problem, it doesn't consist of just hiring me to fix your credit. You have to do some goddamn homework. You have to take the test in this video, do it, and do it with sincerity, and then follow through with the steps. This test is programmed to fix your problem. I swear to God, if you take the test and you fill out the form, and then you actually do some self-reflection, you'll be able to put this stuff into practice instead of wasting your time. I hope you guys can see right here. Number 5, risk tolerance and impulse control. Control your impulses. You need to control your impulses or your impulses will screw up your life. Some people have high tolerance for financial risk or difficulty controlling their impulses, leading to borrowing beyond means or failing to plan for failure or failing to plan for future payments. Emotional states like stress or overexcitement. Don't get overexcited, okay, guys? Intensify impulse decisions. Remember, overexcitement and overconfidence. You want to not be overconfident. You want to be confident in the sense that you can achieve what you need to achieve, but you still need to be aware of the risks that may present themselves down the line and be smart. Use logic. Okay? Number 6, failure to master self-control and delayed gratification. This is a big one. Okay? You want it now, right? Your mind says, let's do it now, but you feel the pain later. Let's max out the card now. I can get this. I can just make payments on it, but you're not calculating if you don't have enough money to pay for that bill later. And if you miss one late payment, guess what? Your credit score tanks. So do not max out your cards unless you have the cash. One might ask, well, what's the point of credit? This is debt trap? It's not debt. It's not a debt trap. Your credit score is just a financial blueprint to assess your risk as an individual. Your personal credit is just a score. It's just a report. And this report helps you do business later on, okay? Your personal credit is not to be used to borrow. They cap you as much as you borrow because when you borrow, your score goes down. If you want to max out your cards, you need to leverage money in order to make new money. Let's just say I had $10 and I had a business model where I can spend $10 and it will make $20. So it cost me $10 to make $20. I made $10 profit. So I could say, you know what, Johnny, you have $100. Why don't you give me $100 and I'll pay you back 5%? So you're basically paying $100 plus 5%, which is like $5, right? And I made $100 profit. 95% profit minus the 5%. And then that's a business, right? So it's like this marker company. They make a lot of markers and they buy the product and they make it for a certain price, but then what they sell it to you for is their profit. So that's how you leverage. You want to do that with your credit, okay? You don't want to borrow, max out your personal credit cards and carry a balance because that's going to screw you up. So, failure to master self-control and delayed gratification. Unlike wealthier individuals who often demonstrate mastery of self-controlling impulses, because wealthy people were taught by their parents. Most of them were taught by their parents. If you grew up in a poor family, raise your hand, don't be shameful, okay? Then you don't know what the hell you're talking about unless you have the information of wealthy people. So it's a simple fix. It's a simple fix. Don't take it personal because I've made these same mistakes too. But the reason why I'm growing my wealth is I completely flipped the script and changed my whole idea on money and credit. And hopefully, after you've watched this video, you'll do the exact same. So with that being said, guys, I highly recommend you take the psychological financial assessment test in the link description below and shoot me an email if you have any questions. You can book me directly if you want to fix your credit, and I will work with you just like this video. The beauty of working with me, instead of getting videos like this, you get on a Zoom call like this, like every week, and I work one-on-one with your goals. And that's why people pay me a premium. So stop worrying, stop trying to get a bargain credit repair company to do basic disputes, and then you're just going to end up in the same mistake again. I am an advisor and I'm a credit coach. And I'm going to take your credit to the next level if you decide to work with me and if I decide to work with you.